Hey guys, so in the previous video we created the anime component and we made it reusable, and we also are rendering the anime component based on the data array, right? So we have now bunch of animes. Now the problem is, even though I'm trying to scroll, I'm not able to scroll. The reason is that in React Native, by default, a screen or a view, or for that matter component, is not scrollable. You have to use something called a scroll view. So let me just use that and then I'll explain. Now if I wrap this whole anime inside scroll view, you can immediately see that I'm able to scroll. So that's the nature how things work in mobile world. It's not like web where you don't have components like scroll view. By default things are scrollable, but that's not the case with React Native, or for that matter whole of mobile world. Now the point here is that what happens to the data which is not in the viewport, right? So what is a viewport? Viewport is basically the area which user is able to view at a time, right? So the size of this array, if I'm not wrong, this data array is somewhere 20 or whatever it is, right? But at a time we can only see 3, right? So what happens to the remaining 17 or whatever the remaining is, right? If we use scroll view, then that thing, even though it is not visible, it is still there, it is still present, it is still present in the UI. So that can sometimes be a problem, because now if we have data as, like, let's say 100, tomorrow this data becomes 100, so 100 anime component will be rendered, and even though at a time 3 will be visible, but 97 components will be still rendering, right? Even though it's not in our viewport, it's not visible, but it's still present. So this can lead to performance degradation. The reason is each component needs some memory in the RAM, so we don't want to do that. So there are perks and there are issues with the scroll view. Just like any other thing, software is all about trade-offs, so we'll be discussing that. Also, one very important thing which we should not forget is that every React component gets a key prop, right? So we should use the key prop. Again, I'll reiterate why we should use. So let's imagine the size of this data array is 5, right? So when you perform this map operation, what we can consider, what we imagine is that there are 5 anime components, right? Now React doesn't know if this anime component is different from this anime component. So in order to tell React these are different, we have to give a key, right? So we'll just do that key. And what is the unique thing in an array? The index is always unique, right? For each element, the index is different. Index cannot be same for 2 elements, right? So what we can do is we can get our index, because in map the callback function of the map receives second argument as index, right? So when we do this, we are now telling React that okay, the first one has key 0, so it is a different element, and so on, right? So this is how it will look if the size of this data is 5. So this is how it's going to look under the hood, right? And because you can see that key is nothing but the index, so key is different for all of these 5 anime components, and React will immediately know, okay, these are different components. The significance of key will become significant in the upcoming videos, but yeah, we should just consider that this is a good practice to have, and we are going to stick to it. So this is how we can make our anime component, and we can render it, and also we can make it scrollable. So we'll be continuing more in the next video. Thanks.